Before we start our telecast part of our program, I'd remind you to turn off your cell phones, please, and thank you. Haley? Welcome and good morning to those of you here in our sanctuary and those of you viewing us online. My name is Raina Bick, and I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Flint, a progressive religious community in which people are free to be themselves without fear. I'm especially glad that you're here today as we celebrate the altruistic people that make this church work, all of our volunteers. That's probably everyone in this congregation today, and many of the people that are watching online. If you'd like more information about our faith tradition or this congregation, please feel free to talk to our ministers today or via their contact information that may be found at uuflint.org. If you are a visitor and you're interested in receiving our weekly email newsletter, you may sign up at our website. You can scan the QR code on the back of our service, or you can complete this colorful card, which is found in your seat backs. Please look at our order of service from the back. Has the important announcements, but I'd like to quickly highlight a couple. Please be sure to be here next Sunday for our annual congregational meeting. We'll be voting on important issues such as new leadership, our budget, and delegates for General Assembly. Zoom access will be provided to those unable to attend in person. Look for information on the day of and in our email update on how to do so. And then we're still looking for people to help us at the Pride booths in Fenton on the evening of June 20th and in Flint on June 29th. So please contact Reverend Lynn. And now, you join me for our chalice lighting. This reading is by John Kierkegaard. As we light our chalice, may remember the words of Kierkegaard. Life can be understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. And now, if you'll join me in reciting our covenant, recognizing the richness of diversity, the beauty and wonder of shared worship, and the power of soul and service, we gather as a sacred, intentional community to freely seek knowledge and truth, to celebrate the fullness of life, and by our actions to increase goodness and justice.
May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know, once again, that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle, connected to the universe, to this community, and to each other. Stand if you're willing and able.
Trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind. Seeds from the sowing are laid in store. Nurture in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Have a seat.
After our spoken meditation and silence, during the musical meditation, you are invited to light candles of joy or concern up front or in the rear, and you may also write your joy or concern in the book, and that will be printed in our electronic newsletter. Our words for meditation today are from the story by Voltaire, Zadig, the Book of Fate. Voltaire asks, "What of all things in the world is the longest and shortest, the swiftest and the slowest, the most divisible and the most extensive, the most neglected and the most regretted, without which nothing can be done, which devours all that is little and enlivens all that is great?" And Zadig answered, "Time. Nothing is longer, since it is a measure of eternity. Nothing is shorter, since it is insufficient for the accomplishment of your projects. Nothing is more slow to him that expects, nothing more rapid to him that enjoys. In greatness, it extends to infinity. In smallness, it is infinitely divisible. All men neglect it, all regret the loss of it. Nothing can be done without it. It consigns to oblivion whatever is unworthy of being transmitted to posterity, and it immortalizes such actions as are truly great. Time is man's most precious asset. Let us enter into the silence. Amen, and blessed be.
famous quotes about volunteers and other do-gooders.
Henry David Thoreau. Not only must we do good, but we must also be good for something.
Herman Melville. We cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us to all of humanity.
Betty Reese. If you think you are too small to be effective, you have never been in bed with a mosquito.
Kindness, like a boomerang, always returns. Unknown.
Nelson Henderson. The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit.
Thomas Carlyle. The work of an unknown good person has done, the good work they have done is like a vein of water flowing hidden underground, secretly making the ground green.
Maya Angelou. I've learned that you shouldn't go through life like a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back.
Albert Pike. What we have done for ourselves alone dies with us, but what we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal.
Aristotle. What is the essence of life? To serve others and to do good.
Muhammad Ali. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth.
Volunteers don't get paid, not because they're worthless, but because they're priceless. Unknown.
Mahatma Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
Oscar Wilde. The smallest acts of kindness are worth more than the grandest intention.
Kofi Annan, former Secretary General of the UN. If our hopes of building a better and safer world are to become more than wishful thinking, we will need the engagement of volunteers more than ever.
Audrey Hepburn. As you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself, the other for helping others.
Martin Luther King Jr. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?
Elizabeth Andrew. Volunteers do not necessarily have the time. They just have the heart.
Leo Roston. The purpose of life is not to be happy, but to matter, to be productive, to be useful, to have it make some difference that you have lived at all.
Winston Churchill. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give.
Ivan Shire. The broadest and most meaningful definition of volunteering is doing more than you have to because you want to in a cause you consider good.
Edward Everett Hale. I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something, and I will not let what I cannot do interfere with what I can do.
Dr. Saeed Hussein Almashadi. Volunteering is the ultimate exercise in democracy. You vote in elections once a year, but when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of community you want to live in.
Anne Frank. How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world.
Garden gates a snail, that's what it is. The lock upon my garden gates a snail, that's what it is. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. First there is no mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. The caterpillar sheds its skin to find a butterfly within. The caterpillar sheds its skin to find a butterfly within. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. First there is no mountain, then there is no mountain. Oh Juanita, oh Juanita, oh Juanita, I call your name. Snow will be a blinding light to see as it lies on yonder hillside. The lock upon my garden gate's a snail, that's what it is. The lock upon my garden gate's a snail, that's what it is. The caterpillar sheds its skin to find the butterfly within. The caterpillar sheds its skin to find the butterfly within. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is.
An old Chinese folk tale describes an elephant walking through the forest when he noticed a bright patch of color on the path. When he paused to investigate, he saw that it was a hummingbird lying on her back in the middle of the trail, and she had her spindly little legs stretched up high in the air. "I almost stepped on you, bird," the elephant exclaimed. "I'm sorry," said the hummingbird. "I heard that the sky might fall today, and I want to be ready to hold it up." The mighty elephant laughed. "And you think those spindly little legs are going to help?" he sneered. "Not all alone," admitted the hummingbird, "but I'm ready to do my part." The elephant looked down at the little bird, and he thought a bit. Then he nodded, and he slowly lowered himself to his knees on the dusty path, rolled over on his back, and into the air went 4 big legs and his trunk. Now we might think the hummingbird and the elephant a bit crazy for trying to save the world. But from the outside, I'm sure some folks say that some of us look a little bit crazy too. At least they might at least say we're weird. But you know, the Old English word and the English word weird, different spelling, is actually from the Germanic source that meant to turn or to become. The kind of people that we are, giving of ourselves, volunteering, trying to save the world, also makes us change or become different. Whenever we find ourselves in real religious community, whether through socializing, through worship, or volunteering, we become more of who we really are inside. That becoming, or evolution, can make us feel a bit strange at first, maybe even weird. But darn if that evolution isn't what keeps people coming back here in more ways than one. Because not only do we, preach evolution, but sort of experience evolution here as well as a spiritual practice. Folks don't come to UU churches for the same old, same old. They want to be changed by the challenges here, intellectual, spiritual, and even physical at times. In Sunday services or in discussions and book groups, there are provocative subjects that we wrestle with. But even in physical volunteer work here, people tangle with heavy things. Our volunteers even take down trees. Did you know that we have a group that we fondly call old men with chainsaws? You know who you are. Or is it sexy old men with chainsaws? I'm not sure. I think that was it. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, but missed that part. So obviously, churches like this are made up of passionate people that are ready for just about anything. And that's why we are celebrating today in particular, but really we should be celebrating people like you every day. And just like that little hummingbird, each person here does their own part in holding up the sky every day, out in the community for the causes that are important to them and in here. And throughout hundreds of years of our history, society has often benefited from the work inspired by the moral imperatives of the Unitarian Universalist faith. Prominent abolitionists, suffragists, and civil rights activists were all Unitarians and Universalists. The tradition continued with UUs fighting for reproductive and LGBTQ rights, and later, Black Lives Matter. And of course, all of those continue. And within this congregation, volunteers rallied when you didn't have a minister. By sheer volunteer determination, this group was able to keep a church running several years without a minister. And today, we've minimized the need for committees and multiple meetings as a way to honor and preserve the energy of our members. And that happened because we recognize the most important part of a church: volunteers. Volunteers are the core. They're the power behind this group. And this reminds me of something theologian and UU minister of over 50 years, Jack Mendelson, said. Jack was something of a rock star to those of us that attended the Ministers Association chapter with him in Boston. He was very unassuming, great guy. And, he worked with Adlai Stevenson, Robert Kennedy, Jesse Jackson, and he was a prolific writer. But you might recognize him from that book, Being Liberal in an Illiberal Age. Mendelson wrote that UUs know that we have the power to do good. But our only problem is how best to use it to represent what we stand for. And it's true. We never wonder if we should help. We just have trouble deciding, out of all the needs in the world, which ones should we address? Now, many of you choose to tackle several all at the same time. Luckily for us, This congregation is one of the ones you choose to tackle. And for all of you, the question is never, should I make a difference? It is, how will I make a difference? And that may be crazy. It may be weird to others. But I am so very thankful that we have decided to answer that question together. Thank you.
Today, we celebrate the strange phenomenon of volunteerism, in which many humans work for free, often leaving the laundry and dishes at home undone. Amen. Seems odd, doesn't it? Perhaps we should check ourselves out on this matter, which is sometimes called disinterested altruism. And in fact, we do talk about this frequently. Perhaps because unpaid good works is the idea that best defines us. We know that volunteers work to save things. They work to save things, and it seems to be a strange, seemingly unreasonable behavior at times. A volunteer who transports blood for the Red Cross helps save other people's lives, people that the volunteer does not even know. Volunteers at the local animal shelter want to save animals from suffering. But if you volunteer for a church, you want to save, first and foremost, an idea. Certainly, these are the oddest of all odd volunteers. Of course, church volunteers may also want to save the church building so that they have a nice place to meet with their friends. But they do that so that they have a good roof over their heads while they celebrate the idea they want to save. And yes, the idea, of course, leads to actions, good works. But first comes the idea that gives the energy and the direction. But why get out of bed early and go to the church to prepare the music, make food for others, or fix the roof when you can cherish your favorite idea sitting alone in the comfort of your own home? Many people do just that, of course. Science gives us the answer. We humans, more than any other animals, get rewarded by feel-good chemicals, endorphins, when we save something or someone with our volunteer work. Whether we actually volunteer our time or our treasure, we get what is called a helper's high. The helper's high is a mild version of a morphine high that we get from our own self-made dopamine and serotonin. This has been confirmed by many studies, so we know for a fact that when our volunteers, for example, those who work to broadcast our idea far and wide on YouTube, when they do that, they feel good. So we should do an experiment. I'll ask today our sound room staff, Sue and Haley, are you feeling a buzz right now? Yes. Yes, they are. Try and keep it under control, but they are on a natural high, most of the time at least. Science proves that our genes and our brains have evolved to cooperate, to foster community by helping each other, and that is why today we honor our volunteers, past, present, and future, who are on the front lines of helping. By serving a cause that promotes the common good, they are the engines of evolution. Now, our volunteers probably do not look at themselves in the mirror and say to themselves, I am an engine of evolution, but they could. So, what is the idea that they, and all of us who support our church, what is that idea we want to save? Its essence is predictably expressed nicely by a symbol. Primal evolutionary forces usually are expressed well by a symbol. Our flaming chalice symbol is much like a star. The flame is the light of the intellect and the warmth of our compassion that brings light into the darkness. The darkness is also within the circle. The flame feeds on the stuff of the universe, which is in the chalice bowl. And we are also made of and feed on the same elements. It sounds rather unpoetic to describe them as the heavy elements formed by exploding stars, but that's true. So, the chalice is in us. Or, if you prefer, we are in the chalice. That's all of that and much more is in our symbol. And it would make a great tattoo if you're looking for a new one. But does the idea have a name? A succinct one, hopefully? Yes. It goes by many names. Perhaps the best one is we are the light of the world, as described by Jesus of Nazareth. It has other names and descriptions from many other world religions, as well as our own, that says, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. With all of humanity's many faults, we believe, with good reason, that people can choose to use their energy to save others, even save our beautiful planet. And we can do it because we have that nature within ourselves. And the proof of this lofty idea, every time people give of themselves for the good of others, they prove the idea is true. Thank you.
I had to stop myself from tearing up there, Jerry.
All right.
What the heck? So I'm sure you all remember Mustard's Retreat and their song, Let's Hear It for the Volunteers. We're going to share this song with you, and we're going to expect you to share it with us. The chorus goes like this. And this is your part. When we start to sing it, come on in and sing it with us, okay? That'll be your volunteering for the day, okay? And it's 1, 2, 3, hey! Help them put the chairs away. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for the volunteers. I didn't come in very good. Let's do it again. And it's 1, 2, 3, hey! Help them put the chairs away. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for the volunteers. They open up the church on a Sunday morn. They greet the people with friendly charm. Pass up the programs and hold their arms. greeters are volunteers. Sue, Dave, and Larry work the cameras. They get the shots for the YouTube show. Close up, long shot, or side view. Let's hear it for the camera crew. Here you come. And it's 1, 2, 3, hey! Help them put the chairs away. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for the volunteers. Jen's a musician, keeping us in tune. This is the congregation, she's been a boon. Chaired operations for many a moon. Jen is a volunteer. Helsa and Straw do so many things. Ruth and Raina too, as if they had wings. Ray and Dave are handymen. They're all volunteers. Here's your part, and it's 1, 2, 3, hey! Help them put the chairs away. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for the volunteers. Terry brings a smile to all her work. Social justice warrior, concerts to boot. She brings the parties and they're all a hoot. Terry is a volunteer. Bonnie leads the songs, but that's not all. Whenever she's needed, she answers the call for treats on Sunday or anything at all. I am a volunteer. And it's 1, 2, 3, hey! Help them put the chairs away. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for the volunteers. Jim, Shauna, Sandra, Bonnie, and Ruth work on finance to find the truth. The last dollar's going, it's for the good. They're all volunteers. Thorpe and Tim are our techies in the house. There's a glitch, they grab the mouse. When we have a problem, they fix it all. They are volunteers. And it's 1, 2, 3, hey! Help them put the chairs away. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for the volunteers. So many things need to be done. We're glad for hands that make work fun, whether the kitchen or on the grounds. Thanks to our volunteers. Well, it ain't for the money 'cause they work for free. We're a great, compassionate family. It's all for the friendship and community. Let's hear it for the volunteers. Last time. And it's 1, 2, 3, hey! Help them put the chairs away. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for the volunteers. One more time. And it's 1, 2, 3, hey! Help them put the chairs away. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for the volunteers. Yay to all of you!
Well, my colleagues join me up here. I'd like to introduce us all. I'm Raina Bick, Chair of Nominating, Deb Gustafson and Pam Foltz, and missing today is Sheila Smith, who, believe it or not, is home, slowly getting stronger, but she helped edit and wrote some of those words, the poet at work. I want to give thanks to Mustard's Retreat, who gave us permission to use that tune, and we told them we were going to rewrite the words. So I intend to send it to them, a copy, by email and say, thank you so much, so much. The nominating committee by our bylaws is charged with a couple of simple, but not so simple tasks, one of which is to come up, request, organize, and solicit from the congregation nominations for Volunteer of the Year and occasionally the Jennifer Howard Award, and as well as presenting a slate and candidates for various meetings. That we'll be doing next week. But this week, I'm passing over the microphone first to Deb and then Pam.
Good morning. Are we ready? Okay. We all know what a volunteer does. I'm here to present what is officially called the Outstanding Volunteer Award. We fondly refer to it as the Volunteer of the Year. Makes it easier. Which began, according to our plaques downstairs, in 1990. That volunteer that year was Phyllis Bradford. Some of you may remember. 2024 brings us to the 34th year that we have on the plaques. I'm sure that there was probably people prior to that I, of course, do not know. So we had several of you were nominated for this recognition today. I'd just like to recognize those. We had a total of 8 nominations. Some had 2, 3, 4 different people, you know. So anyway, let's take a few minutes because there are 7 people I'd like to recognize who were nominated. Shauna Bell, Terry Cross, Jim Newtown, Sue Owen Kinsey, Anastasia, Ray Rust, and Judy Tipton. That leaves one more person. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about them. Our nominee grew up in Flint, was part of a large family, attended Flint Public Schools, worked at Bishop Airport, where he met his wife, plays pool, delivers blood for the Red Cross, has studied numerous religions, and is always willing to share his knowledge. Friendly debater, is active in all of our activities, even winning a couple of cook-offs over the years. So I'd like to honor in 2008, Thorpe Saxton and Joyce joined this church, this congregation. Thorpe didn't just join. He's known as Mr. Fix-It when it comes to our technology. Him and Tim Stiles do a wonderful job. He was instrumental in bringing all of this technology that I have no knowledge of into the virtual world. He was willing to share his expertise, his ability to problem solve cheerfully and with a sense of humor have allowed us to share our faith in this virtual world. Also, we would not be here without his new and improved Sunday tech team, all of our tech team, that allow us to broadcast virtually. Thorpe researched the projector and cameras that are part of our new and improved sound and video system, spent hours running cables, hanging monitors, dropping microphones, syncing software to ensure the various components can talk to each other. During many of the improvement projects in our building, he often offers insight on alternative ways to solve the problem as well as lending a helping hand. We can always rely on Thorpe to be part of all we are here at our home. Thorpe Saxton, would you please come forward?
Bring tears to my eyes. Thanks, you guys. I never expected that. Thank you.
Now I turn it over to Pam.
Thank you.
The purpose of the Jennifer Howard Lifetime Achievement Award is to honor a UUCF volunteer who has volunteered year after year over the lifetime of their membership. To choose a nominee for this award, we consider their impact and dedication over the years to our congregation. Our congregation has a number of people that fit into this version of volunteering year after year, and their impact on our community has shaped us into what we are today. Personally, I'm very proud of the different stances our church has taken throughout the years that I've been a member. We have, as a congregation, made a difference in the lives of many people and many groups of people. The person we have chosen for the award this year has been a member for over 20 years, has a wide range of interests, and is willing to help in many situations, both personal and church-related, and remains a worship associate. Jim Newtown's name came up many times for many different reasons in our nominating committee meetings. He has spent several years of endowment and finance. He has taught and participated in classes at our church. He's played his dulcimer for us, much to our enjoyment. He helps with cleanup, setups, and he's helped train new office staff. He has ushered, and I'm sure there are many of other types of help he's provided that are not included in this commendation. His answer to everything in life is 42, and I'm hoping that includes at least 42 more years of his membership. Jim Newtown, we are thanking you for your years of dedication to this church and proud to have voted you into being this year's Jennifer Howard Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you. There are many people who do more than I have and have over the years, and everyone, even those who do anything I know, and I want to make sure that you know that I am appreciative of all the time and effort that everyone puts in, no matter how little or how small. We are aware of what you're doing, as apparently some people are aware of some of the things I've done. Thank you.
On behalf of the nominating committee, I hope you'll take an opportunity to talk to both of these persons and give them a personal thank you. We all do a lot of things. As I look around this group, I know there are many, many things that are done for our church family, our church home, and many other things. So lift it up, remember it, and notice, please. And now, closing words. Time for generosity. So I'm going to switch roles, and now I'm your worship associate again. Each week we have a time for generosity. It used to be called the offering. I remember that, and I kind of like the new term. It reminds me that I'm doing a voluntary contribution to something that was important to me. George Bernard Shaw wrote, "Life belongs to the whole community. We should be thoroughly used up when we die. Life is a splendid torch that we hold for a moment, make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. We invite you to join in our collection by placing your offering in the basket at the back of the church as you leave, or buy an online gift at uuflint.org. We hope to pass on that bright torch for future generations. Please take a time and take a gift from the basket in the back of the church, a special gift from the board and from the nominating committee as representatives. We have a little pen light, which I forgot to bring mine up to show you so that you can light the way. It's a very nice ballpoint pen and a flashlight, as well as just a little tab for your smartphone. So worthwhile hanging on to. That's our gift to you for any and all of the ways that you are present and share with this community.
Real community is not sameness. It is the discipline and devotion of diverse people bearing with one another the hard tasks of love. And let us extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, and not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet together again.
In the town where I was born, lived the man who sailed the sea, and he told us of his life in the land of submarines. So we sailed unto the sun till we found the sea of green, and we lived beneath the waves in our yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. And our friends are all aboard. Many more of us live next door, and the band begins to play. Everybody make horn sounds. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. As we live a life of ease, every one of us has all we need. Sky of blue and sea of green in our yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine.
I have one other thing I needed to say. We have cake and walking tacos downstairs, so everyone's invited, and we'd like to talk to the people that volunteered and enjoy it.
Yeah. And we're going to do that right now instead of having a talk back. Nothing to talk much about. It's a non-controversial service. So we'll see you down.